Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 26th of March here. Small move to the ABM yellow, which fits within the expectation we had as we saw a little bit of softening of the MBI magenta, not much. Like we pointed out that the increase here of the MBI white would cause an increase of shorts wasn't significant enough yet to overtake the strength that's currently in there. And we saw that with the DOC spread here, where the green overtook cyan, removing, moving underneath red, so moving into always a buy category. So this is going to push us up towards the highs. Of course, we had very weak housing data and some other troubling signs from an economic standpoint, which for the market is bullish simply because it says, hey, the Fed might actually have to ease. The problem with that, though, is easing within the problematic situation of increased inflation, which isn't under control. So something's got to give there. Otherwise, you end up with that stagflation. From an NQ standpoint, you can see much stronger from a short standpoint, but still unable to pressure that as long as that MBI magenta continues to hold. And you can see the same breakout here, finally, of the NASDAQ being congruent with the S&P, with the cyan DOC moving lower and green crossing above it. And so it's those confluences where you get the crossovers that really show the distinct change. Now, from a treasury standpoint, rates didn't go down. In fact, slightly increased. But again, this is a back and forth situation because will the Fed actually be able to do anything? Because when you look at oil prices, not likely. You're still holding in this range, but now you've moved up, just that few dollars. And fine, it may not be a huge percentage increase, but it's still going to cause inflationary pressures. And then you have, several states in America with their minimum wage jumps to dramatic levels, and that these wage increases are always the biggest driver of inflation because it just multiplies itself across. And from the euro, they saw this all as weakness, so that was a big bonus for the euro, which not likely. From a gold standpoint, continuing to rise, we would expect that's going to move back up towards its highs. No question about that. We saw the same thing happen in crypto, skyrocketing back up once we had that magenta back over yellow. Boom, took off, and that was above 76%. ETH also caught up to that move. It's just slightly behind, but it had been accelerated before. So it's just pretty much evening out, which all very consistent with the expectation of what we would look for to see from cryptos in an inflationary environment. And so here we had our big run up. We had the positive extremes. We filled back most of those, coming back to there right at the 50%. And at that 50%, we had some back and forth with MBI white leading, and that caused just a bit of flatness. But once we got a turnaround of magenta, that's been all positive all morning long. And in the pre-market setup, if we look at the 5K, from an intraday standpoint, we started up, came across, and then just before the day's out, filled it all back in just to clear any long positions and then try and capture some more shorts in there. And you can see they're forcing the short cover already this morning, and so they're going to wake up to forced cover situations, and we'll repeat, rinse and redo, and back and forth until we get some degree of clarity one way or another. That's the long and the short of it for now. As always, if anything relevant pops up, I'll put it on the Skype chat. Have a good one. Trade well.